In this lecture, we will learn about Aristotle's virtue ethics. Aristotle was the first great ethical naturalist, believed that the good for us is defined by our natural objective. According to Aristotle, our highest objective by nature is the attainment of happiness. Aristotle says we should seek happiness for its own sake. And because the attainment of happiness is naturally our highest objective, it follows that happiness is our highest good. According to Aristotle, happiness consists of two things. Number one, enjoyment. You can also say enjoyment as pleasure. And number two is the exercise and development of the capacity to reason. It consists in part of enjoyment because the human being has biological needs and impulses, the satisfaction of which is pleasurable. And it consists in part of developing and exercising the capacity to reason because only the human being are only living things who has such capacity. So far, we have learned that attainment of happiness is the highest good and happiness consists of two parts. Further, Aristotle divides virtue into two different kinds. To exercise actively our reasoning abilities, as when we study nature or cogitate about something, as when we study nature or cogitate about something, is to be intellectually virtuous, but we also exercise our rational capacity by moderating our impulses and appetites, and when we do this, we are said by Aristotle to be morally virtuous. Let us now discuss Aristotle's philosophy of the golden mean. It can be condensed as: in order to achieve happiness, people must act moderately. They must act so as to be striving for the mean between two extremes. If they do this, then they will be happy. But the mean will vary from person to person. However, Aristotle emphasized that virtue is a matter of habit. Just as an axe that is occasionally sharp does not fulfill its function well, the human who exercises his rational capacities only occasionally does not fulfill his function. That is, he is not virtuous. Let us do some criticism on Aristotle's philosophy of virtue ethics. Although, at first glance, it seems plausible to hold that everyone always ought to follow the middle course between the certain kinds of activities, there seem to be situations in which this advice will not work. For example, there is no middle course between keeping a promise and not keeping one. For another instance, Aristotle's view is that happiness will result from moderate behavior. A person who is temperamentally passionate and romantic may find that moderate behavior does not suit him or her. One cannot be happy if forced to control